Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on. Maybe because not everybody necessarily knows each other, so maybe just take a little moment to individually introduce yourselves and just say a little something about yourself. Mo, we can start with you if you're not frozen.
Oh dear. Okay. So hello, I'm Mo. I am a producer and screenwriter and great friend of the lovely Monique there. And that's me.
Okay. Hello, Mo. Hannah?
Hey everyone, my name is Hannah. I'm a pianist and a producer and a songwriter, and also a friend of Monique. We know each other from church, and I'm in London, even though I don't want to be here. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I know that feeling in the opposite direction.
Tabitha?
Yes, so my name is Tabitha. I'm originally from the US, but based in Berlin, Germany for several years now. My background is education, social work, coaching, and psychology, along with food. And right now I've created my own business where I kind of put all those passions together into one. So basically I create events, or in this case also supporting companies, had to do a little pivot because of Corona, to really build relationships and connections.
Very nice. Yay.
Love it. And all of you are like, so each of you are like within your own worlds. You're just observing each of you is like, you're very, gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Dynamic, and just the way you kind of bring everybody together around you.
This is so true.
Yeah, all three of you have that.
Oh, wow. I just realized that is very true.
But you know what how the saying goes, if you spot it, you got it. So yeah, exactly the same.
I know, she's so sweet.
You got it. I love it. And I love it especially because it's in the accent. That's what makes it all the more special to hear it. So I wanted to ask, like, just to start off, as we continue to wait for the remaining guests, like, gratefulness, just even today or just in general, I'm curious to know what each of you ladies is grateful for.
That's a long list. Are we narrowing it down to a certain number?
Should we start with you, Tabitha?
Oh, wow. This is actually funny because this is a question I've been asking actually a lot of people since, we've all been looking at this year going 2020, so terrible. What's happened? This has happened. This has happened. And so since Thanksgiving, which I celebrate, I've been asking people like 3 things that they're thankful for or grateful for, because even though things are crazy, there's a lot of good things still happening, even if they're small or different things like that. And for me, narrowing it down from overall this year, I think I'm really grateful for my network. So that includes my friends, my church family, and everything else like that, because all the opportunities that I've had, the times you picked up, or you need a little pickup, or you need a little kick in the boot to go, has been part of that. And even, so I've had to pivot my business a little bit with everything happening, and the opportunities have come out, that has come out of my friends, introducing me to other people. So that's, I would say, is what I'm really thankful for.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Hannah?
Yeah, same. It's been such a crazy year, hasn't it? Where I think we're aware of the things we're grateful for, but we're also aware that has been a very hard year. So for me, I think the things I'm grateful for are quite small. They seemingly small things, but they're big things for me. Like, I completely changed my perspective in terms of work and decided to just come home a bit earlier, and so I started seeing sunsets every day, which I just haven't had because I was usually in the studio until the last train. So it's, for me, like, I feel I've connected to nature a bit more with seeing sunsets, going for walks, and just kind of like just trying to condense my working hours a bit. Again, now it's not as bad as it used to be, but basically get perspective, because you kind of think, like, I need to be someone more than work, because sometimes work just stops and it's not in my control. And what do I do when work just stops? And I realized I was really uncomfortable with it. It's just like, it's like, it's like me without work doesn't exist. And so I
Mhm.
got into hobbies. Like I started taking Tamil lessons, which is the language we speak, but I'm not fluent in, you know. So I kind of found a teacher in India. I started taking classical piano lessons again, which I haven't done as you know, like since a kid. So like small, like hobbies. I got hobbies for, it seems like the first
Wow.
time in my life possibly, you know. And so I'm grateful for time, you
Yeah.
know. And same as you, Tabitha, I'm grateful for family, friends, network, church, the anchors of our life, and it sure as hell isn't
Yep.
work, you know.
Yep. Very true.
I love that perspective in time. Whew. Um, here we go, Mo.
I think for me, it's got to be a healthy mental, healthy mind and body. I think I'm grateful for that, because once you've got a healthy mind, everything else can follow. And as long as you've got a healthy body, you can also support others who need the help. So for me, it's a mental and health I'm grateful for.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I felt like I had separate responses, but now after hearing you guys, I'm like, actually, no, I really love this, like, because health is so important to me. Like, that's actually a passion of mine. I don't even know if that makes sense to say, but like, it's it's not very often that I get sick. I just don't really get sick, and so the minute like something happens where I have a cough or a sneeze or something like that, it's like, what is this? You know, it's so foreign to my body. And it just also puts things into perspective for me, where it's like, I'm so about health. Like I want people to be healthy. Like that is so important. Health is so important because like Mo said, it's like
Yeah.
when you're mentally healthy, even especially with, you know, this year and everything, mental health is a huge thing. Overall it's just health, perspective, time, friends, good friends. Oh my gosh, good friends, you guys. It's like, it's just like really putting things into perspective as I even say it out loud. It's just you know, in spite of like the crazies of 2020, I have begun to learn just how blessed I am. Truly, truly. What about you, Mo?
Yeah, health. Which again, I'm always thankful for that. But of course, when you see and hear all the stories, and then you're like still doing great, you feel like, wow, it just reminds you how important it is. And friendships, and just relationships, people in my life, my loved ones, my family, and having meaningful work. And nature is a big one for me as well. And just in general, being able to be outside. I mean, I started going to Grunewald for the first time this year, which is like this amazing, but I mean, it's been there like for forever.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing, oh, everybody talks about it, and I don't, yeah, but anyways, this beautiful forest in Berlin. Yeah, just I think too, having opportunity to be grateful, like having things to be grateful for, and not always like the big things, you know, having running water, having shoes, having just all those things that are just in general massive blessings when you consider that, you know, 95 or something percent of the world doesn't have that. So
Well, another question that we had in general is like, as we all know, like 2020, like a lot of the crazies that have happened, but what are the highlights for you guys? I mean, certainly there have been one or two highlights, I know. So I'm curious to hear from each of you to you know, tell us like some highlights that have come about in 2020. Raise your hand if you want to go first. Okay, fine, Hannah. We hear you.
Uh, you know, for me, what's been this year's been, in a way, as much as it wasn't about work, it was in many ways one of my most successful years. You know, and maybe because I wasn't looking at it at the year like that, but I had an amazing. I got to spend 2 days producing an Abbey Road, which for me was just like I've never,
Yeah.
in Abbey Road, and to be in, we were in Studio 2, which is the Beatles studio, and
Wow.
I was running the whole session. So you kind of, you kind of think, wow, like this is amazing, and I was like cheekily FaceTiming my uncle in LA because he's like a massive Beatles fan, and he thought I was there on tour. He's like, Hannah, it's great. It's like, no, I'm not visiting. I'm literally running the session, but you're not listening to me, So I've had, like that was a big moment. And last week, a couple of days ago, I got a plaque for an album I'd worked with because we surpassed 1 million sales worldwide and 1.5 billion streams, which is like so like when you see billions written down, it's so funny. I was like, I've never seen it. Like I was
counting.
like, what is this? What's this number? So it's kind of like it's just incredible that
Congratulations.
Thank you guys.
That's
And I think
amazing.
the whole thing is, and all of this work is with like a very good friend of mine. So it's kind of the fact that I get to make music with someone I love and respect, and it's resonating, and it's opening these wonderful situations for me. It's just so,
Wow. Incredible.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Mo?
I think Mo froze. Oh, there she is.
Are you frozen?
I'm here, but my line is really bad. I keep disconnecting and reconnecting. So, but yeah, for me, I think the start of the year was great. We produced a short film. I was doing a festival run and got some good responses from it. But then, come COVID, everything crashed, obviously. And for me, I also got with COVID. I had a bad, no, I wouldn't say. So yeah, it was particularly tough. And then thinking, is this really what I have to do in terms of a career choice?
Sorry, you're frozen.
I've jacked in a really good pay package, jacked that all in for this. And so I went through a really tough period. But then I got a call in the spring from somebody who wanted to employ me on a TV, and I really brought me back to work, and I went on, and we just wrapped a day ago, 2 days ago, I don't know which day.
Sorry, can you cut out?
And it was fantastic. And great, has given me the buzz I need to keep going and producing. So for me, to be positive year.
Wow, I know what it was, but you cut out. So can you say again what it was?
In the spring, you said in the spring.
You got a call for a job, and then you cut out when you were saying what it was.
It's for a 6-part TV drama, and I was joined the production team on that for ITV in UK, and I ended up not in the producing role, but as a COVID manager. But it was a job within the production department, and got great visibility and made good connections within the TV industry. So I think a door has been opened, and I am running in.
Wow.
Amazing! Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome.
So yeah, despite COVID times, we managed to surf that and managed to go through the production. I think 20 weeks with COVID free, which is amazing.
Wow.
Wow.
Awesome.
And it's also amazing hearing your stories and knowing you and knowing like your journey and just seeing your perseverance, and then like it's just so full of hope, to see things happen after you keep persevering. So
yeah.
Thank you. Both of you, all of you. So Tabitha, I'm sure, has something as well. So
yeah. So for me, at the beginning of the year, it was really because it actually gave me time, which going back for earlier what Hannah said, because usually I'm on the go constantly. Like I come home to sleep, but beyond that, doing 5 million things and whatnot. And so my idea actually before COVID was I was creating a new website. I gave the company a different name and everything else. So it actually gave me time to actually work on that. So I didn't feel bad when I wasn't going to this or I couldn't go to this event. I'd be like, I could actually work on this. And then there was a little break in between, since I normally, what I do is I normally do events. in person. So there's a little break. I did a little stuff online, but I was like, okay, I don't want to push this and chasing people and everything else like that. And so it was kind of also allowed me time to kind of relook at my mindset as well, to kind of refocus. And so going from like this survivor mentality, which makes a great song, but not good for your life vision, and kind of reanalyze that, switch that over, and then other opportunities have opened in this area of where I'm working more with companies, which is quite nice in itself, since you're having a more possibility for a kind of a customer base that you always kind of work with instead of switching people around. So that's quite nice and looking good for great for next year. So I already have 2 new clients as of this month arranged for in January.
Wow.
So yeah, so doing a little bit more brainstorming and looking at that, because it also allows me to work more remotely on that sense, flexibility and all that kind of stuff. So in a way, it's a new way of doing things. I will never leave also just doing people one-on-one and all this kind of stuff, but it also gives me more flexibility for the future and a little bit more space to breathe, which is always good.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love that. I love how, like, in spite of, you know, what some of this year has been, that there's still like hope. There's still like, because like, again, listening to your individual stories, it actually inspires me more, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I could do anything. You know what I mean? That's why it's so important to kind of like engage with people in their individual stories, because it's like, you know, we're all, you know, I think we're all meant to be connected for a reason, and yeah, we can learn so much from each other. So thank you so much for
How
sharing.
about you both? How was your year? What was the positive stories from you, apart from obviously sacred potential?
Right.
Yes, and us lovely people.
What has happened? I mean, what hasn't? But I think this has been. Oh my gosh! Yes. London.
I just had to whisper it.
Yes, it's so funny.
I was gonna be the
Well,
person.
yeah, because actually one of the things that I was really planning on, I mean, actually June, I was meant to be hanging out with you, Hannah, and you, Mo, in London, you know, because my whole goal and hope was to finally move to London this year. And one of the things that was on my agenda, I was like, I really want to present during London Fashion Week. And, you know, after, you know, the announcement is like, okay, pandemic, and we're not going to do it, they decided to have their first digital platform. British Fashion Council decided to have their first digital platform for London Fashion Week, and invited me to appear. So thank you. So I was just like, what? Me? What? So it was just like amazing, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like still, even though the dream that I had wasn't like, you know, physically in London, it was still the dream still coming true, you know. So yeah, that was a huge thing for me. And at the same time, this has also been a year where my mindset, like really kind of getting my mindset in order. It's a daily thing, but just becoming more and more convinced of my purpose, and like you know, my passion, and just to kind of live that out, and just yeah, there's still, it's so funny because there's still some things that are happening this year, as I'm sure it is for you ladies, that will transition into next. So I'm really looking forward to that and to sharing that when that time comes. How about you, Monique?
Well, yes, so London, I'm still here in Berlin, and I was trying to get back to London, and but I was actually really encouraged, because even though I physically wasn't there, sadly, it was like God was bringing London to me in different ways. So through different acting things and stuff, where I was able to get connected to certain things that I probably would not have been able to get connected to otherwise. So you know, I'm just really big on the idea that there's always blessings tucked into whatever delay. If there's a delay, there's a good reason, and something good will happen within that delay. Yep. I got into an apartment that is like kind of beyond my dream. Well, not kind of. It's like a dream apartment that
That I'm in love with.
she's in love with. I'm like, yeah, you can be here when I'm not here. Anyway, but yeah, and it just was one of those things. It was just as if it was made just like for me to move here. But anyway, so it's probably temporary, but we'll see. But anyway, and then I can't go into details at this time, but I got the most amazing, miraculous news that, you know, my family and I and all of my friends all over the world had been praying for 11 years. And finally got that news. It's still now in movement towards the actual total, you know, happening, but the main news has come. And the burden that's been lifted is, even though it's not all fully come to fruition, it's the main part already has in a way. So now there's of course little bumps along the way, but it's like nothing is going to stop there. So
I've got goosebumps just hearing that, so that's amazing.
So,
I know.
yeah. So and I'm not trying to be mysterious. It's just for, you know, just there's reasons, and one day we'll be having all of it on. But yeah, so I'm just very, very grateful. So to me, this is like, even though I know there's been so many terrible things going on, but I've also felt like for me, it's been a miracle year.
Yeah.
So, and just hearing all of your stories as well, just hearing these amazing things that in a time when it seems like those things would not be happening is actually when they were really coming out the most. It's just incredible, you know, so.
Was like, you know, it'd be fun if we could kind of have on Zoom a future party.
Does anybody know what a future party is? Okay,
No.
tap. Okay.
I think me and Paige, we've done it before.
Oh yeah, we actually have.
I think we do it like every 3 months.
So it's
Well,
kind of
maybe sort of a like a different kind of rendition, just because we can't just very well do it.
you
Oh,
should,
okay.
yeah.
So future party idea is like you would come, if this was a party in person, you would come as the person that you know envision, I don't know, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or something like that, right? The life that you envision for yourself, and you would be talking to us from that place, from the future. So I mean, you know, you don't have to go dress up right now, but if you could just maybe even just talk about like what you see happening in your life, and what you envision and what you hope to have happening.
And we can start off to maybe make things a little easier. I can ask for you to reintroduce yourself, and then that would be an opportunity for us to kind of all learn who you are and like essentially where you are now being 5, 10, however years from now, in terms of your vision.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, who shall I start with? Who seems the most ready?
If you feel comfortable, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's
just want to say, no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
Because I don't know if I'd be like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. That's a good point. Whoever feels like if you're not interested, you could just be like,
or you just, or if you're interested but you're like, yeah, that's too much right now, then just tell us something you want to be grateful for 5 years from now, or that you still think you'll be great, something like that, just to make it less pressure.
Maybe we should start with Tabitha, because I feel like she's the most ready.
Oh, great. And just to figure out what I actually want to share as well.
Same.
Yeah.
There's a lot there, but probably not all of it needs to be shared about.
Okay.
No. So for me in the future, for what I see, definitely my business
But
growing.
speak from that place. Speak from that place. Like,
Yeah. So, la. So, happy to see you guys again. Back, last time we met was like 5 years ago. So I'm really excited where my business has grown to. So right now we are across Europe. I actually have a few more people that I have hired that are actually kind of taking the reins. So I am more in the manager overhead and whatnot to make sure everything is running. But I do more mentorship now, back to mentorship, back to public speaking.
Awesome.
for the different other projects, and doing several other projects to really help build connections and really help to build relationships, since as that is a human need. And you know, back with 2020, how things like we went to more of a digital landscape, also with companies working more remotely. So it was a kind of a new landscape for everyone. Exactly how do you still build relationships in a whole new kind of format and new world? As in, people are still meeting at the same time, we're not always having to meet physically. And so that was a kind of shift on that. So we've been really doing a lot of projects, a lot of support for companies, a lot of support with people. Through our network and our community, we have helped several people start their own businesses, several writers. We actually have a few bestsellers now. It's quite fun on that, seeing that journey with that. And so because it's a community of go-getters. So we go across the different spheres and different passions and everything else, but it's really nice to see that grow and see that. And at the same time, I've been taking more time with myself, with my partner, and so that's been great. So taking a time, being able to work remotely and kind of adjust our lives how we want to live it. So we're still able to support, we're still able to give, we're still able to build up. At the same time, I can easily just kind of go over to Bali and work there for a month, and then work for a couple of projects here, build up a new program, and then go somewhere else. So I'm really appreciating and really thankful for that at the moment. So yeah, that would be from my side.
I need to take a page out of that book because I'm like,
I'll go. I think I've come up with something. It's good. I've never played the future party before, so.
Well, thank you for playing along.
Yes.
Because you know what, for me, so if there's one thing for me I've learned this year is like you can't plan. I literally December last year at my parents' house filled out like this 20-page my vision. And you know, it's a joke.
Yeah.
And again, it's like God has jokes with us. You know, you like you want God to laugh, tell him about your plan. You know, he's like, hey, none of that could happen. So I think my plans are very loose now, you know, because I'm just like gotta throw it all in the wind anyways, because nothing's gonna. If this is
And
me,
meanwhile, you had all these amazing things happen. So yeah.
It's so good to see you again, Hannah. What's been going on? Let us know.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of living between Berlin and London. Now I've got got premises in a big studio in Berlin. I've got a big studio in London, and I'm able to commute without it being too stressful. You know, super excited about kind of developing new acts as well. So it's not just working with kind of the big artists, but it's just finding young talent. I've come together with my brother and sister who do a lot of youth work, and so it's kind of like a mixture of kind of youth work, youth works, professional studios, you know, the young talent feeding themselves up to the studio to, you know, all the kind of big stuff that I do. And it's successful, but it's successful on many levels. So we use all the awards and the plaques kind of just as hope. It's not to show off. It's just like, come on, kids, this is what we're doing. So listen to us, and then maybe, you know, like so we use music just as a platform to kind of be able to spread and share and to kind of bring people into a safe space, really, you know. And still love my job the same way I did when I first started music, because that's not something that's ever going to change. So that's where I'm at, I think.
Amazing.
Love it.
Wow.
Love it.
So inspiring.
you
So
guys,
inspiring.
seriously, I'm telling you, these things are making me so excited.
I know.
can't
I
take
was
it.
like getting all
I'm
teary.
like, oh my gosh! Look, I'm just like, I'm so there. I'm like, oh my gosh, Hannah, it's happening! Oh my gosh! Okay, all right, whew, okay.
I had to keep being like, wait, oh
I
yeah,
know.
okay.
I'm like, let me calm
It's
down.
real, it's real.
It's real. It feels so real.
Can I
Okay.
just go real quick? Because mine's like 2 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Because it's a world exclusive, and I've had a really successful 5 years, but I'm currently working on a feature film that's been written by the amazing Monique Amado, and the costumes are being designed by Paige Benjamin. And this is world exclusive. We have literally just signed our leading actor, and ready for it.
Wait. It's pausing. I don't want to miss it.
I'm crying. I'm covering my face.
Okay,
His
wait.
name is
Wait. She just got frozen. Wait, I can't. No, we can't miss whatever. Go ahead. Oh no! This is frozen. Yes.
No, I need to know who this actor is.
And we're ready for what?
Okay, wait.
Oh my gosh,
Mo.
this is like a tease. This is crazy. She
I know.
froze right then.
I-
Oh my gosh, this is like to be continued. Da, da, da. No, you know what? She's probably not frozen. This is just like part of her production.
Cliffhanger.
Proper cliffhanger.
Mo.
The Wi-Fi. I was on the computer. I'm now on the mobile.
Okay, all good.
Okay, thank you for rejoining us. And so Bill's going to be on in a second. And before we get interrupted, let's hear so we heard up to that you're making a film, you're producing a film that Monique wrote, Paige did the costume design, and then?
And our leading actor, who has literally just signed the contract, is the amazing, the incredible Bill Nye.
Ah.
He's our leading man, and he insisted as part of the contract that Paige do the costume, seeing as she's got incredible taste. And he loved Monique's writing. And yeah, let's hope he signs on the next one that Monique writes.
Love it. Love
I like
it.
it.
Oh my gosh.
I like it.
My face hurts with joy. Seriously, that was absolutely incredible. This is definitely something that we are going to. We insist that you guys, in your own time, do this with your friends and
Yeah,
family.
do it for New Year's or something.
It's a good thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. There was something I was going to say. Oh yeah, Mo. I wanted to ask because Tabitha, Hannah, Monique, Nina, speak German.
Ah,
And I was wondering, do you speak any other languages?
I speak rubbish.
Me
But
too.
Yeah, quite fluent. And I speak a little Spanish, I speak a little Italian, I speak, yeah, pretty much that. I can understand a bit of Hindi, not really
Okay.
speak. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Mostly
Yeah.
English.
Wow. Yeah. Outside of English, I'm fluent in gibberish.
Yeah.
And, I am actually starting to learn German, or attempting to. But anyway.
So yeah, I was just gonna say, Paige is next.
Oh right. Sorry, I forgot. I keep forgetting like that.
What we're doing.
This same thing applies to us as well.
We don't just get to ask and listen to you guys. We have to actually be brave too.
Ladies, first of all, thank you guys for coming to my dinner party. Like it was amazing. It's amazing to see you girls again, all you beautiful, fabulous ladies again. This has been yet another fabulous year. History has done amazing, like in terms of just revenue, the sales and everything. But I think what history, what it was always for me, like the clothing line, was just a way for me to connect and to touch people. And so like we've done so many outfits and clothing for just people who can't afford the line. But in addition to that, like we've actually gotten people's jobs through the company and everything. So that's just been amazing. And first of all, I just want to even thank you guys for even taking the time. I mean, actually for you, Mo, and you, Hannah, probably wasn't that big of a deal, but like to be in my home in London, it's just so nice to have you guys here. You know what I mean? It's just so lovely. And yeah, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big deal for Monique. Yeah, Monique is here as well. And yes, and my husband wants to thank all of you guys as well, because like he thinks all of you are so amazing and everything that you're doing. And so okay, so we have
Bill, we're admitting Bill over.
Yes, he's coming to the dinner party as well.
He's gonna be like, what is Monique talking about now? Okay. All right. So okay, here we go.
Yes.
Hello, Bill.
I am so sorry, guys.
Okay, you look like you just came from a Academy Awards night. So
It was absolutely my fault. I just wrote it down wrong. And I thought I had plenty of time and I was just bebopping around. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. That's why I was like, just in case there was a time mix-up, I want to send an email just in case. So.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. I hate time zones.
Yeah.
Welcome.
It's great to see you. Thank you for quickly throwing it all on and hopping on.
Yeah.
It's good to see you too. Now, are you two in the same place?
Yeah. Yeah, we're in Berlin
Mhm.
right now.
Or physically in the same place at the moment.
You are or not?
Yeah.
Yes,
We
we
are.
are.
Yeah. It looks maybe it looks like you're going at it.
Oh,
No, I don't
maybe.
know.
Oh, maybe it looks like, yeah, we are actually sitting
It
next
looks like
to
there's a split screen.
Okay.
No.
Yes, we're actually here. We're
Yeah,
actually
we're
here.
here. So we were just doing this fun thing, but since you just arrived, we'll back up a little bit, let you answer the first question we had, and then just to let you know what we were just in the middle of, we're doing a virtual future party, which is we've just heard, what things have happened this year for everyone, like what light has come into their lives, what things happened this year that were good things. And so everybody shared the amazing things that have happened despite, the seeming darkness. And so now we've just fast forwarded 5 years from now, and everyone is sharing as if we're talking from 5 years from now, what's happening for each person. So we just heard some amazing stories of all the amazing things. So
Yes, for sure. But I was pretty much kind of like coming to an end and like just wanting to, I was thanking everybody. I mean, Bill, you're a little bit late to the dinner party, but it's okay. There's still plenty of food still left at the table.
I'm a lot late, so I'll just sit here because you guys have already done this.
It's
so
okay
sorry.
because no, the chef is preparing stuff like so anything that you want, just let me know or let him know and he'll take care of it for you.
yeah, this is from the future now. So you're not late at all. You're actually early.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah. But anyway, we're just glad you're here. So
Yes.
it's as long as you got here, we're just happy.
We maybe should move on to you, Monique.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so for me, well, it's funny because Mo had shared her future, her 5 years from now, and it was pretty much very similar to what I was going to share. Although I will say that mine is that it's 5 years later and my family is all together, which I could cry right now. But my family is all together at last after a nightmare thing that happened 11 years ago. And my family's all together. Everyone is healthy. And we are wrapping production on the film about the thing that is the miracle. And Mo is one of the producers, and Paige is designing the costumes. And yes, and that's all I'm gonna say for right now. And I'm in London. So yes. So anyway, so
maybe Bill, we should probably start off by saying hi, welcome again. For all of us who probably don't know you, could you just maybe introduce yourself today before you go to the future? Introduce yourself, and so we can all kind of get to know.
Yeah, the guy who's an hour late comes in and runs his mouth. No, I'm an actor. Done. That's it.
okay. No, because we're on the second half of the call, so it's not like we're we've already signed back in, so we want to hear from you.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
I'm an actor, and I generally play malevolent, wounded people.
That's one way to put it.
He does.
Yes.
He does.
But
You play it very well. And yes, he's actually quite renowned in the horror world. So yeah, he's just being very humble. And but yeah, he's if you mention him in any horror communities, it's like, oh my gosh, Bill Oberst. So yeah, just to make sure everybody knows that.
So
Lovely to meet you, Bill.
Nice to meet
And
you.
he's rocking back and forth reflectively to convey this.
This is the reason why I normally don't watch horror movies. I think this is it right here. I'm already starting getting moving back in my seat.
But the amazing thing about Bill is that he plays these characters, which we've had long conversations about these characters and what he has to mentally and psychologically do in order to enter into these people and the work he does. And but he's actually himself probably one of the nicest human beings you could ever possibly meet. And this is not just us saying this.
No.
This is across the board.
Yeah.
Anybody that's ever met him, you can just see the comments nonstop. So
Yeah.
we just want to
You're
make
nice.
sure.
Thank you. You know, I feel the same about you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
So 5 years later, Bill, can you kind of speak from the future in terms of where you're at, like, and speak from that place?
Yeah, 5 years from now, I'm retired, so I can have a dog again, and I still have abs. If I can have those two things, I'm good.
I love it. I love it.
You know what? I'm just determined not to get the old man gut. The old
It's hard
man
to picture for
I
you.
know.
It's very hard to
You know-
picture you having that be an issue.
the old man figure with pipe cleaner arms and the pot gut. So, but I have to work my abs a lot harder now than I used to, and I can get a 4.5 pack. So I guess 5 years from now, if I can still have a 4-pack, maybe 3.5, I'm good. But
Leave the half
yeah,
of a 6-pack, we're good.
and I really do want a dog again. I miss one, but I travel so much that I can't have one now. And my partner works all the time, and so we've had 4 Dachshunds, all of whom have passed away now. And we just made a decision: no more dogs until somebody can be home taking care of them. So I would be really good with retiring in 5 years, doing a movie every now and then. But as it is now, I do 10 or 12 a year.
Wow.
10 or 12.
That's really crazy. Well, okay. So in terms of, we'll kind of also go back to one of the previous questions that we asked everyone is, what are you, generally speaking, as well as today, whatever, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for the realization that we can adapt, we can change, we can do better as a species. Me personally too, I was really scared when COVID came. I actually hit full panic mode because it just seemed like not only was my industry going away, but this is, oh my God, this is the existential crisis that humanity has faced. And then I remember seeing editorials start to pop up from people saying the empty streets, the animals in the streets, the quiet was making them think about what could be. And that excited me because I thought, okay, we don't have to stay on the same path. So this horrible, unthinkable thing, empty freeways and animals roaming the streets that happened for a month or so, this thing has happened. And already we're saying, how can we use this to be better? And that really makes me feel better about humanity. And it's made me think about what I can do for the planet. I've always been really interested in, of course, saving the planet and climate change issues. But now I'm like hyper focused on it. That's what I want to spend my time on because there's so little else that actually matters. And to see those clear streams and clear skies that we had for that little bit of time was pretty damn exciting.
Wow.
Beautiful.
You have a question?
Yeah, and then of course we had asked everyone what has since so many things have happened this year that it seems like it's been dominated by unfortunate news and unpleasant things. So we wanted to hear from each of you what has happened in your lives this year that has been brought light into your life, or something good that happened, or something that you wouldn't have expected would happen in a year like this, that kind of thing.
The reemergence of poetry in my mind and my life and my imagination. With COVID was so devastating to our industry, and my future was so uncertain that I couldn't read fiction
Mm.
and I couldn't read nonfiction because nothing was crazier than what was happening.
Mhm.
And nonfiction just seemed irrelevant. So the only thing I could turn to was poetry. So I just dug out all my poetry books and got back into reading at least one poem every morning. And then that started my mind thinking about the world poetically and metaphorically. And that's been a beautiful thing because you think about things in a larger sense, you know, the larger, broader meaning of things. And poetry reminds you that there's not a damn thing that you've experienced or the world is experiencing that people before you have not already experienced.
Mhm.
There's nothing new.
True.
And it also poetry also reminds us to slow down because it makes you look. It makes you notice, you know. Who are some of your favorite poets?
The first book I picked up was a book of Carl Sandburg poems that I've had for years because I love his Lincoln biographies. And then that led me back into Emily Dickinson and back into Poe during the darker periods, Robert Frost. And then I started going back in history and reading some poets I've never heard of before from the Greek and the Roman periods, some poets from the continent of Africa. And yeah, so now I'm kind of addicted to it. So if you guys write a poem, send it to me.
All right, I have a lot of poetry, so I can send you some.
Well, you heard it. I started a podcast
Mhm.
during the pandemic called Gothic Goodnight. And so I started messing around with little bits of poetry for that. And it was really, really liberating, you know, to come up with things like I sing of strange arrivals of ships neath phantom sail. And, you know, I did one of those to introduce a piece from Dracula. And it was great. It just, it stopped me from thinking of the world in such concrete terms and took me out of myself.
In terms of the new year, that, you know, we're upon a new year. I mean, I don't know if this is like probably almost even asking the same question again, but it's like each of you, like, what is your hope, you know, for the new year, for you, for your family, for, you know, the world? Like, shall we start with Mo? It's so interesting just seeing Mo written.
She was on with video earlier, Bill. She's lovely, but
Yes.
unfortunately her technology was having a little bit of an issue, but
Apologies. Yep, my laptop has died, so I'm on the phone now.
that's okay.
Could you repeat the question for me, please?
So I was just saying, with the new year upon us and everything, like, what is your hope for the new year, whether it's like for you individually or your family, your friends, the world? What is your hope for the new year?
That change is brought about in a positive way of some sort, even if it's a small change in someone's life, that's a positive change. I think that would be my hope going forward, because every little drop makes the ocean. So a little change here and there in life, a positive change, I think would be, would definitely be the right thing for a new year. Yeah.
Awesome. Hannah?
I hope we hold on to the stillness that we kind of all got in 2020, you know? There was just, the rat race stopped for a second and it was beautiful. And I felt people were really honest. You know, you call people up saying, can you do this for me? And people say, not right now. I'm in a bad, I can't do it. And you understood. And so we all became really flexible because you were just like, not, so deadlines all of a sudden moved around and it was fine if somebody emotionally just wasn't there. If they're the right person for the job, you flip and wait for 24 hours. It's fine, you know? So that we take that into account, that we are not robots, that we're human beings, that, you know, there are going to be good days and bad days, and that doesn't make us, you know, better or worse at our jobs. So there are all these like really beautiful little things that sprung up in 2020, and I hope we don't forget. I don't hope we don't forget.
Tabitha?
I think mine's along the same lines as Hannah. For me, it would be like being able to take the time, because like it was more about time of, even if it was remote or whatnot, you were taking time to call people up more and spend
Mhm.
time. And even though it's still learning, sometimes learning the work-life balance of everything, and still had to, but at the same time, it was okay that you decide, oh, I'll stop a little earlier. I won't work the extra hours tonight. I'll spend time with friends or family or different things like that. And so that would kind of be my hope as into next year, because as things might get a little crazier again, we still take time to take care of ourselves, but also to spend time with those that we love, with those that we care about, while we're still building whatever we're building. So it's not like, because I think there's this kind of mindset, in order to really build something or be successful with something, you kind of have to put everything else aside, and you can't take care of yourself, or you can't focus on building relationships or any of this thing. But I think that's the beauty of being able to kind of recognize that we can do both without
Mhm.
sacrificing that. So yeah, that would be for me.
That's good. Bill.
That that we not forget what we learned this year, which is more beautifully expressed by you three than I could have ever. But to me, it boils down to we learn to mourn. We learn to mourn together, and we learn that everyone mourns. That's like, for me, that's the essential, that's the linchpin, the key of life, is that life is mostly about suffering and how you deal with suffering. It's not about avoiding it. It's about accepting it and understanding that everyone else is also suffering.
Yep.
And if we could just do that, I mean, we just went through this wild political upheaval in the United States. And at the end of it, at the torturous end of it, we ended up electing a candidate who's sort of the designated mourner. His whole life is defined by loss, grief, empathy, and mourning. I'm shocked that we did this, and I'm very hopeful that we can, as a nation, accept mourning and loss and not be on a happy train all the time. Yeah, that's what I hope, is that we can just look at another person, just as someone just said, and know that they may not be okay at this moment. They may not be okay, and they're not here to serve me, because I'm not okay sometime, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Empathy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just briefly add to this. A lot of people write me with personal things, because as an actor, either I play these killers and really bad people, they're all kind of soulful, wounded people. So I have 4 people now, 4 of my correspondents on email and Facebook, who are dying from cancer in various stages. And they write me about what they're going through. And it's a real window into what the process is like to face mortality, and to just face it with open eyes, and not to pretend that it doesn't exist, or that people don't die, or that life doesn't end, and not to turn away from it. There's beauty in accepting the shortness and the transitory nature of our lives. And God, I hope we don't lose that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I have personal hopes for my family for some certain things, and certain people that I know are in deeply troubling situations that most of us can't even fathom. And that those people get out of those situations, and just that people in general don't take for granted all the things that, even before this year, just in general, all the things that are just freedom, being able to go outside, being able to do certain things that, without confinement, without, just that people appreciate what freedom feels like. And also that I love that you talked about, the climate and just the earth. It's like just that the earth needed to breathe, and the earth is not to be taken for granted. And creation is not to be taken for granted, and that that there would be an awakening to stewarding the earth, which has been a long time coming, because that's really what we're supposed to be here and be doing anyway. And yeah, and just hope also, like all of you mentioned, you know, that we won't lose sight of the preciousness of time with people that we love. And I think that there's been like this, I feel like I don't know how it's been for everybody else, but there's been some situations where it's almost like there's been like almost forced closeness with people that maybe there wouldn't have been before, which has really opened up spaces for healing and spaces for people to learn really how to love each other better, love each other more deeply, love each other more truly, and forgive. And there's just like a lot of things that I feel like came up that created that space that otherwise, you know, I feel like God gave a gift in that, where it's like, okay, it's going to take you all forever to get there, so let's just make it easier for you, and we'll just get you there very quickly, and you can work through that stuff. And I think just by not knowing what the next day or the next week will hold, it made things more urgent. So yeah, and that just that there wouldn't, that regardless of what happens next, that we would still have that we'd still be able to access that without needing a big lesson in it. So
Well, I wish I was taking notes, but thankfully this is all being recorded. I think my hope for my is you know, for my family to be in good health, or actually everyone to be in good health, and I hope for stillness, more stillness, compassion, just compassion in terms of being able to like really look at everyone as an individual and kind of really see them through the eyes of God, because sometimes it's hard, you know, and to have that kind of compassion, because especially when you're going through a lot or whatever, but just to have moments where it's just like being more understanding, just being more understanding of, like, you know, not necessarily taking things so personally or whatever, just like, you know, everybody is dealing with something, you know what I mean? And just to be understanding of that, you know. So
but we really wanted all of you to be able to meet and engage with each other as well. And it's just really lovely to see all of your beautiful faces. And we thank you so much too for just joining this Sacred Potential this year, and being our guests, and just your engagement, and just everything each of you do in this world is just so beautiful. And it just shows like how important all of our gifts are, and everybody has this gift they're using in a certain industry or in a certain part of the world that is touching people's lives. And we're just really inspired by all of you.
Truly, like, honestly, just even like everybody dropped the mic at separate times today, and I really appreciate all of your words, and they're all so healing and just edifying. And thank you, truly, you guys, each and every one of you, Mo, Hannah, Tabitha, Bill, truly, honestly, thank you for existing, and just continuing to just be who you are. Please know that your lives are touching people. Truly know that, like, really know that.
And right back at you too, because this is an
Absolutely.
amazing, this is amazing platform, amazing opportunity, and a lot of people will be touched by your words and your lives as well. So
Thank you.
when you say something about thank you, it's thank us all. So every one of us has got something to contribute to the world.
What you two are doing with this show is risking ridicule by being earnest, because it's such an ironic world. And anytime anybody is earnest about anything, we want to make a joke of it. And you're engaging with the soul, and that's a really risky thing to do. So Paige and Monique, thank you for what
Honestly,
you are doing.
Thank you, guys.
Agree.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna cry off camera. But again, shall we just end in song?
Okay, sure.
Because now, I mean,
you
because
start.
yeah,
'cause I
we should be
nothing's-
able to sing. It's like everybody's in their separate quarters, you know, so it's okay to sing.
Sure.
What should we sing?
Hannah, you want to? Hannah's a music producer, so let's have Hannah.
It has to be something Christmassy, right? It
Yeah,
has
of
to.
course, of course, of course.
Unless it's a song for the future party, in which case we're raising a glass to the success of Sacred Potential as well. Maybe in the
Guys, what Christmas songs do we all know?
It could be
What do you-
Old Lang
You guys, yeah, you guys have to lead it. So you guys choose it as long as
Oh
it's
yeah,
Christmas.
I can totally lead it, but I just don't know what.
It could also be what's that? Old Anxiety, because this is also our end of the year episode.
Oh, that's
so
true.
Yeah.
How do you start that?
let old acquaintance
He forgot.
and nobody knows. Okay, something else, please.
Okay. I'm thinking of The Sound of Music. So long, farewell, because it's like because
Avi just saying good night.
no,
I actually know that
because
one.
we're saying goodbye right now.
Okay, come on. Somebody's got to just pick a Christmas song. Oh, okay, we'll keep doing.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
So long, farewell.
Farewell.
Avi
Avi
saying
just saying
goodbye.
goodnight.
Wait, can we do it like 1, 2?
No, you can't, babe. It's 1 second delay. So I've done this before. It doesn't. It's like 1 second delay between everyone. So we can hum while you guys lead, but it'll never be in sync.
Oh, okay. It's barely in sync when we're singing it.
No, this is true. Yeah, this is very true. Okay, well, we'll just say it like have a holly jolly Christmas.
Christmas.
And,
Yes.
I don't know how to do the rest of the
yeah,
words.
yeah.
Okay, anyway, we get the idea.
Yeah, you
We
get the point.
idea.
Okay. You guys.
Thank you so much.
Merry
Yes,
Christmas.
have a wonderful Christmas and health and blessings to you and your families and your loved ones. Thank you so much for being here, and we really truly appreciate every
sure.
one of you.
Yes, so much. Yeah. Thank you guys.
likewise,
Like,
likewise.
have a wonderful Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Fantastic time and a very new year.